Yeah, since you brought it up, uh, let's get into what you guys do in art and the type of the things that you guys have done for this podcast and the art that you guys do outside of it. Eric, you just mentioned your manga. You want to tell us about that?
Oh well, so I guess uh, if I were to put my manga in a summary, like uh, it's like a group of three people taking on a job that uh, mainly requires helping the public or stopping bad guys of such. Um, the inspiration from that came from when I realized that in most anime there's always a trio, so part of me just started to lean towards that notion. But as I was making the story, it just kind of evolved into something a little bigger. Even though I'm only even though I'm only 20 volumes in so far, 21, I think I have
Only
a
that's
whole
actually really good.
Yeah.
yeah in my schedule. Yeah, that is considered good since I do one chapter every 2 weeks. So
Yeah, 21
yeah,
chapters. So, yeah, I've been keeping up with it. It's real good so far. I've always ever since I met you in like anime club back in yeah, high school, I think. And I just saw your art and I was like, man, how is this guy so good? And seeing
No, for real.
that you've gotten even better than that over the like almost decade that I've known you is just incredible. Just seeing how much you've grown. Actually, I think it has been about a decade since I've known you. But yeah, yeah. Then the story itself takes place in DC, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Really?
that's the current setting at the moment. Since I thought DC was kind of it plays a big part into this world that I haven't really touched on just yet, but hopefully eventually I'm on the final stage of my first arc, so eventually I'll get to the point where I can explain that. But ideally the whole setting would basically be like entire planet itself. Like just plan on studying and researching on a bunch of countries and other places so I can use those as settings for the next story. So
Yeah, and a lot of the characters are based around people that you know. Like Harris, our design teacher, is one of the like main characters. Is essentially like
yes,
the mentor figure.
yeah, the mentor figure slash captain.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I need to get into this.
Yeah, you posted on your IG stories, and they're saved on your page as well, and like the story highlights.
They're all available to read on my highlights. I will be honest with like the first few chapters they do have a bunch of typos and lack clarity in some areas, but eventually I'm gonna actually plan on redoing a few of those. Uh,
Hmm.
Yeah,
Probably when I'm done with the first arc.
yeah. A suggestion I made at one point that you started implementing was having the an arrow showing people which direction to read, because you posted in your story, but it's read like a traditional, Japanese manga. Sometimes you can end up
Right. Yeah.
reading it in the wrong direction. So now on every page you have an arrow going like read this way, because I would always end up reading the wrong direction, and then I would be like, what? I'm confused. What are they saying? And then I'm like, oh, I'm reading it wrong.
Right. Honestly, when you told me about that, that thought hadn't crossed my mind until I realized, yeah, you do have to click right in order to get to the next page, and I'm like, that does that can probably confuse a lot of people. So it is better to start doing that from now on.
But yeah, what's your Instagram?
Oh, it's three trios underscore official.
Yeah, I'll make sure I put that in the caption or the description.
It'll stay there it'll be on Instagram for a while, but eventually I'll start spreading out to other social media
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah, yeah. I think at one point, like, you had like drew me as like a character, and then that's when I first started getting you to like draw things for me before I started taking like one of the drawings you made and used it for the podcast, and then from there, I started asking you to draw. I'm commissioning some drawings for you for like the anniversary drawings and other special events that we had going on. Um, that are all up on my IG or the Mustardcast's IG. At the
I
Mustardcast,
need to take a look.
and yeah, and up until before Amir, just got real busy with life and couldn't record anymore. It would the two drawings were from you of Amir and me. I don't know when you drew that picture of Beer, because I think he just randomly had it. Now, no, it was his profile picture on Instagram at one point. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that he drew you at one point. Amir is weird. I didn't realize Amir was as popular as he is. I've known him for so long. I did not realize he was so popular. So many people know him. So many more people know him than I thought. This man be popping him in places I don't expect him to be at. Like when we had that alumni event a while back, I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know he knew all these people. I don't know Amir like I thought I did.
I
He's
didn't see him.
yeah, he was just surrounded by people. That man's popular.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, Bree. So for the podcast, you've drawn new portraits for me in Iera. With this
Mm-hmm.
redesign, we're taking a lot of inspiration from initially. It was Hades and Persona 5, but when I started playing Persona 3 Reload, I started taking a lot more inspiration from that because I like how
Mm-hmm.
that's a little bit simpler in terms of the way they do the UI. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm leaning into the mustard aspect of the mustard cast and Dijon mustard, of which, I mean, I'm sure I said this the first time you were on a podcast in that Arcane review episode, but like, you're the person who gave me my nickname. You just one
Yeah.
day in science class had purposely mispronounced my name, and one of our friends was like the mustard, and you were like, yeah, like the mustard, and I was like, I like that. And here we are with the mustard cast. Um,
Oh, so I think was it your either your middle name or last name started with an M? So I was like, yeah, so that's like the mustard part.
yeah, I
Dijon
remember.
mustard.
Yeah, we were talking about initials for some reason. But yeah, so yeah, so like, what is your journey with art bid like, and like, what do you plan on doing with it outside of, what's been done with the podcast?
Oh, so for 1 year, stuff is actually almost done. I just the flat colors, and I just need to draw the one more pose that
Mm-hmm.
you requested.
Yep.
So I'll probably show that to you within like the week or so. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
But
the idea is to have like multiple different like expressions that I can use in like thumbnails and stuff like that.
Mhm. but as of right now, I've just been like in the planning station, planning parts of new comics that I want to make, or just in general. So I have, I think, four or five stories that I want to do. One is like kind of fleshed out where it just needs like a script and like character design. And there's others that have like really intense world building and character building and like story arcs that is kind of hard to write. And I like low key think I need a team to do that. But in the meantime, I've just been doing like a lot of studying, doing YouTube videos and at least trying to learn animation. I haven't started doing animation yet, but I've been saving videos on YouTube.
You have to make sure I show one. I have to show Eric like, or I don't know. Maybe Eric will just have to wait for the episode to come out to see all the redesigns. But also I tweaked the animation for the opening and the outro. I didn't completely redo it because that would have just took too long. Or was it Juneteenth? Didn't have to work because of the holiday. So I had started like the weekend before, but that day I sat down and locked in and finished that up. And I
Mhm.
essentially look, the first time I did it, I was beyond amateurish, and I was just since like after a little bit after that actually, I ended up taking an animation course for this apprenticeship program I was doing with the place that I work at right now before I joined the team full time. So I ended up just learning a lot more about animation. So redoing the animation right now, I took all those skills and it was just so much easier because I actually knew what I was doing. When I was doing it the first time, I didn't realize there was literally an animation. There was just an easier way to animate. What is it? Procreate. I was just literally just making the drawings, like switching between layers, and then exported all of them into Photoshop. When there's literally an animation tool in the app itself that I could have been using the whole time and using onion skins to see the previous layers and stuff that I just wasn't aware of until I took that class and needed to use Procreate to animate for that class. And I was just like, oh, I made that so much harder than it needed to be. um, so yeah, redoing the animation was so much easier, and I did it all in Photoshop because before I did it partially in Photoshop and in After Effects, and then sometimes After Effects can be a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, and it was a lot easier for me to just do it all in Photoshop, and just adjust things that needs to be, and now the animation looks better than ever. The colors are off, so one of these days I might have to change the colors because I changed the colors slightly for the brand with the yellow and the orange, and also threw in the super dark, almost black brown, and like this cream colored white to fill in any black
Mhm.
or white colors I need. And yeah, because the colors are different, the like it's noticeable when the animation plays and then it goes into the overlay. You can see the difference between the oranges and the yellows. So I need to fix that at some point, but right now it's not that deep. It's on the screen for like 10 seconds or like 5 seconds or something. Um, but yeah, animation is hard. It's not easy. It takes time.
I'm scared to start. That's why I really haven't started like practicing. I'm trying to get my art style in order first before I do anything like that because I feel so I need to have like one that's pretty consistent before I do anything else. I think it'll make it a lot easier. But right now, I've just been like flip-flopping between different art styles. I mean, I like my art a lot more than I used to because it kind of used to look janky and all over the place, but now I figured out some kind of cohesion with it. And
Yeah,
if I'm not drawing, then I'm writing fan fiction.
that's good. I need to start
Oh
writing fan
my
fiction
gosh.
because unfortunately, I just don't write. I am an idea man. Um, I have so many ideas. I have
Same.
so many notes, and I write them down all the time. And one day I decided, you know what? I should probably start writing fan fiction because a lot of my ideas start off as fan fiction and then I turn it into something original. But I should probably actually
Right.
take the fan fiction version of that and like write it, expand on it, and that way I get the experience of writing and learn as a writer and grow as a writer. And then when I decide to make it something original, I have something solid to work from. But yeah, so many of my ideas start off as fan fiction, and I realize I'm probably not. I'll probably never be in a position to make this official thing, but I could make it something else that's my own. That's how a lot of my
Basically.
ideas
That's
go.
exactly what I do.
Yeah, same. It's a huge catharsis too, where it's like all this stuff that I wanted to happen in canon, I can just make it my own canon. Now it's real.
Yep.
Yeah, so many things. I'm like, that should be different and better. I could do it better.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty
Same.
much.
But yeah, what's your Instagram? If you have an art Instagram you want to share.
I no longer post art, or at least I'm trying to get back into doing that. I haven't found like a platform that I really want to post on. So I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes until I find a platform that I want to post on. So I started making a new mascot for my page. So it's no longer going to be Jackal. It's a different one, and I'm trying to get into like a studio. So right now, of course, it's ran by like one person, and I think one other person knows like some of my story ideas. A few of my friends know, but only like one person knows in depth what I want to do. But right now, it's gonna stay anonymous until like I get everything settled.
Okay. Um, is there anything you can say about the new mascot you're making?
Uh, it's a monkey.
Okay.
That's about it. It's a ghost monkey.
Ooh.
Cool. Dang.
I could show later, actually.
I had
Just you guys.
something I was about to say, but I completely forgot. But I guess